Morning, everyone. Sam here, United People's TV. Is it morning or are we mourning? I'm certainly mourning this morning. My word, we're here to talk about what happened yesterday. We're here to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We're here to talk about that 5-0 defeat against Liverpool. We're here to have your opinions in the comments, as we always do here on United People's TV. Genuinely, it's an interactive community. I want you to tell me what you're thinking, what your reaction is. And yeah, yesterday was humiliating, shambolic, painful, gut-wrenching, every single rock bottom. That's how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer described that game against Liverpool. And for me, it was absolutely rock bottom. You saw my match reaction after the game. This, I'm I have been a staunch supporter of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager. But yesterday was as they say, the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It was the situation where I personally can't justify supporting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer completely as Manchester United. Not completely. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to be sacked as Manchester United manager. For me, yesterday was the situation where it got past the point of no return. We've been on the brink plenty of times under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the players, the team, the squad has responded and pulled him back from the brink. Yesterday, they didn't. Manchester United didn't. We were 3-0 down within 38 minutes. Liverpool tore us apart. Our defensive organisation for the first, all the goals was just abysmal. Then we went 4-0 down, and it came out in the second half. It got worse. We went 5-0 down. It got worse. Paul Pogba got a red card. The ill discipline of the players. Ronaldo before half time. Hey, there are so many talking points. There really are. I mean, if you're looking at a mood right now, this is exactly how I goddamn feel. Fergie yesterday after that was during the game. That was 5-0. That's exactly what I feel like right now. That face is my mood, and I don't really look. It's not that I don't really want to talk about what happened yesterday, because you have to talk about it. You can't just enjoy the highs and ignore the lows. And this is I'm not sure there's been a lower point post. And I know you can get emotional and caught up in the moments, but I really am not sure there's been a lower point post Fergie. I remember some of the performances, the situations under Van Gaal, and that was bad. I remember some of the situations and everything under Mourinho, and that was really bad. And I remember the 6-1 against Spurs, and that was bad. But this feels worse. This feels totally, totally worse. And I want you to let me know in the comments, what's next? It's the name. It's the title there of the video. It's the title of everything. I want you to tell me your opinions. And trust me, the comments are going to be absolutely flying in today. I can see there's hundreds already. So send me in your opinions in the comments. I'll try and read out as many as possible. And I'll always read out every super chat you send in. Reniel, hello. I haven't seen your name before. No, welcome aboard. Sam, do you genuinely think he is a good man manager? His supposedly biggest trait? Yeah, I do. Completely do think he's a good man manager. But as with every manager, with every squad, man managing doesn't mean that you're going to be capable of managing every single player inside that squad. I think Solskjaer's mismanaged Donny van de Beek. I think he's probably mismanaged Eric Bailly. That decision there to start Harry Maguire against Leicester, I think that must have really been a gut-wrenching moment there for Eric Bailly. But yeah, I think overall in the last few years, I don't think you can deny that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been a good man manager, no matter what your reaction is. But yeah, there's so many of you watching already, and no doubt lots of people are going to be joining in. We've got Jay Ling's fam. It's definitely not Jay Ling, saying, Sam, please tell me when he's going to get sacked today. Look, I don't know what happens next, because as we can see from the reaction yesterday, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to be resigning. I never in a million years expected him to, right? I never in a million years. And why would you? No, you wouldn't. I don't think so anyway. But what I'm going to do first of all here is we're going to take a look at the quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the immediate post-match reaction. If you didn't watch it yesterday, I've already had my say on what Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher did. I did a reaction video on that that's gone out last night. So please check out the channel if you want to see what I said on everything there, because there were so many different talking points. For me to have actually gone through it and discussed it all today would have been extremely difficult. So I'm glad I've done that. So in this video, I'm not going to be talking about Neville, Souness, and Carragher and their reaction on Sky Sports. I've already done that. Okay, so let's just go straight to what Solskjaer had to say after the game, because it was humiliation. It wasn't just humiliation. It was public flogging. It was like being naked in the stocks and getting rotten vegetables thrown at you, sort of humiliation. That's what it felt like in that game. And we all knew that Liverpool yesterday, and that's why I said the performance was equally as important as the result for Manchester United yesterday. Not equally as important, it never is. We're in a results-driven game. I'd be foolish to say otherwise. But yesterday, the performance from United, if United went down fighting and went down in a close 2-1 and we conceded in the 90th minute, sort of went through it. If we fought for that game yesterday, a lot of people would have been able to, we would have all been able to hold our hands up and say, you know what, that Liverpool team is just better than us. That Liverpool team there, yeah, they're just better than us. But there's no positives really you can take from that game yesterday. Let me know in the comment, are there actually any positives you can take from that game? Eddie, you're saying Sky Sports says Ole is sacked. That fake news. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, I think I'd know if Sky Sports is saying that. Let's have a quick look. Nope. The breaking news is about Ben Stokes. So I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been sacked on Sky Sports News just yet. And it's whether or not you feel like it's really going to happen. Because Manchester United, we're now stuck we are really, as a football club, we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. We are stuck between where we are in the league, where we are in terms of as a footballing team and a footballing unit. We're stuck there. And we now have a manager who we've publicly backed a couple of weeks ago. 100% support was the tone from the club. Since then, we've had that first half against Atalanta recovered by the second half. And we had that first half there against Liverpool compounded by the second half. Nothing. We're just lucky that Liverpool decided to play keep ball for 20 minutes in that second half, because if they didn't do that, it would have been terrible. My thoughts on Ole saying we are closer to getting where I want to be after the game. Well, it's exactly what I was going to pull up here. This is a quote from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after the match, saying, Solskjaer, I do believe in myself. I do believe I'm getting close to where I want with the club. And Ole, man, come on. I know you got to have self-belief. I really know that. And loyalty and representing yourself. No, if you're not going to represent yourself properly, no one's going to take you seriously. Absolutely. But Solskjaer is not kidding anybody by saying there that we're close to where we want to. We know we're not close. I think in terms of the squad, we're very close. We are very close. We need that central midfielder. We always know that. But looking at that overall squad, wow, it's a fantastic squad. So in terms of the players we've got at the club, I would say we are close. But in terms of the football we are playing, I don't. We might be further away than we ever thought we were, because that performance there against Liverpool was just, it was all-encompassingly crap. Humiliating from start to finish. The organisation, or the lack thereof, in the defence for the first two goals was verging on. Oh man, I've had comparisons to Sunday League teams before, but now it just looks like a bunch of rugby players who have been asked to play football and they've got no idea what they're doing. That's how bad Manchester United were in defence. And Solskjaer saying that there, nah, man, you're not. Manchester United are not close to where we need to be. That is absolutely the truth. Come on, here, looking at more quotes from Ole. This is from Shamoon from the BBC. Solskjaer was asked if he was the right man to take Manchester United forward. His response was this: I've come too far. We have come too far as a group, and we are too close to give up now. As I said, I didn't personally really think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to. I don't think he'll resign. I do not think he'll resign. As I said before, even if Ole is he's a nice man, he's a nice human. There's something I'm going to pull up there coming up next. He's a man with an ego. He is not a man who will walk away from this job. And that's what I mean when I say we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We're stuck between a manager who is obviously, clearly, undoubtedly, unequivocally out of his depth now. That game against Liverpool, the games post the international break, where I said it's Man United's next 10 games. I said it's Solskjaer's biggest chance. And you know full well that I have been one of Solskjaer's biggest supporters. And there's something I really have to say that's quite important after making this point. But these next 10 games were supposed to be where we saw this proper progress from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And instead, we've had the defeat to Leicester, then the first half against Atalanta, and the second half response, and incredible as it was still a shocking performance in that first half. Paul Scholes, he said, if you do that against Liverpool, you're going to get punished. We did. We got, and that there is the lowest of the lows. And something I absolutely want to say here that is completely and utterly true. I don't want to hear any United fans trying to point the finger at me, trying to point the finger at anybody and saying, ha, I told you so. Took you long enough. This is not a situation to do that, right? We are not Manchester United fans. You are not a Manchester United fan standing there over a dead body with your foot on the dead body going, ha, I told you so. I was here first. I'm better. Fuck that, man. It's got nothing to do with that. Don't. And I've said this, and this is what I've been trying to do over the last few weeks. I've been trying to not to cause divides. I've been trying to bring United fans close. It's not about causing divides. It's not about saying, ha, I told you so. Took you fucking long enough. No, man. Just because you reached a point earlier than me, it doesn't mean that you were right and I was wrong. It just means that my resolve is different to your resolve. My how I think is different, slightly different to how you think. We've obviously both got to the same conclusion, but just because you got there first doesn't mean you're a winner. Doesn't mean you're better in any way, shape, or form. Abby, what are you saying? It's pains to admit that for the first time as a United supporter, 5-0 to Liverpool was a gut punch and the last straw, spineless as shit. Scousers will be happy right now. Look, the Scousers had to watch us and what we did for 20 years in the Premier League. You're damn right they're going to enjoy that. And if I was a Liverpool fan, I would enjoy it as well. Heading down to the comments here, there's so many. I'll try and read a few out. There are so many. Callum, how you doing, man? I personally believe that Ole needs a more experienced backroom staff, but I don't believe anyone would want to be number 2 at Old Trafford. I mean, we've always said that Solskjaer needs better staff. We knew that from day one. We've always said that from day one. And it's coming. That's why Mike Phelan was supposed to be there. Mike Phelan ultimately has failed. But so is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so is Carrick, so is McKenna. Everyone's failed. There's not really been a success, I don't think. Night Owl, how you doing? I haven't seen your name here before. I'll see you. It's honestly sad. Yeah. Genuinely, it's painful. Really painful. It's honestly sad. I wanted him to succeed, being Ole in, but after that, I'm sorry. He's a legend, but as a manager, he has no clue what he is doing. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why yesterday for me was the point where I had to throw the towel in. I had to. I can't walk away from that game against Liverpool as a fan and come here and justify to you why I'm going to Solskjaer will still. It's not the United way. Man, the United way and the United DNA has been so torn up and shredded over the last 7 or 8 years that I don't even think I could really explain what it is anymore. That's how much we've lost ourselves. And we completely lost ourselves when we got in bed with Jose Mourinho, man. That was why United fans were so completely against the idea of Mourinho as manager when Fergie retired. And only a few years later, we're like, well, fuck it. Come on then. In you get. Bed's warm. And now we'll get into the situation where we're going to have to think and discuss what happens next after Solskjaer. As much as I want to just say, Conte's not a fit. Conte's not a fit. He's going to switch to 3-5-2. We're moaning that we haven't got enough attackers on the pitch. Now that's going to change completely under Conte. But he's got a great record. Last year, won the title. Well, Inter, I can't disagree with that. And I don't know what United will do next. I'm going to be speaking about it. Don't worry about that. But that's a conversation for later in the video, and certainly for a video that we're going to be doing as well here on the channel. Jay, emotions are high, but we need to move on. We should still try for the Champions League under a new and better manager. We cannot finish outside the top 4 this season, period. And again, that's what a lot of you are going to be pointing towards. Look at what happened with Chelsea. Look at what happened last year with Chelsea and Lampard. They sacked Lampard midway through the season. Tuchel came in. What happened? Chelsea won the Champions League that year. And I can't deny that that was a success. But for me, it's man, I don't want to become Chelsea. I really don't want to become Chelsea. And as painful as this is, that would be more painful. Just seeing our club adopt the Chelsea business model of the constant cycle of 1-2 years, new players, new manager, new squad, constant rotation. And I know it's the ruthless aspect that a lot of people want, but that's just not what I want my football club to be. That is the oil club mentality. And they've brought a new immediacy onto football. Which is it's been the biggest stain on football that's happened ever since 2003. And it's only getting worse. Obviously, Newcastle now, with the Saudi family buying them. It's only going to get worse. But yeah, that's why I'm so hurt and I'm so torn, because I can't truly see what's next. Whilst at the same time, I can also truly see that what we currently have is not what's next. Is not what it needs to be. Go down here, Stephen. What are you saying? 40 years as a supporter, and this is the worst I've seen from United. Stop the rot now. Well, I'm pretty sure that there was worse in the 70s and 80s, mate. I know that for sure. But let's move on to see what else has been said in the reaction to this. Something I would say, and I'm not coming here with trying to spread some positive Solskjaer propaganda, but this was a nice touch from Ole. Even after the game, even after everything that happened, he was there. He was there signing autographs for fans for an hour. Not for an hour, sorry, for like 10, 15 minutes outside Old Trafford for the people that are waiting for him. He called it rock bottom and he still had time. He made time for the fans. And that's the sort of the measure of the man that he is, why he commands so much respect inside Manchester United and why he still should command so much respect. For a lot of you now, a lot of you are saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a... Sorry, someone said their super chat got missed. I'm sorry if your super chat got missed. There's so many comments coming in. There really are so many. I'm trying to read everything out, I promise. But Solskjaer has so much credit at the club because of the way he's presented himself, the way he's carried himself all the way through. And that's what I mean here when I say that's why Manchester United are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because I don't know. And this, for me, at this point, this is exactly why John Murtough was brought into the club, right? And this is the only saving grace I think I've got is that hopefully what comes next will continue that direction. I've said it before, and that's why I'm so scared about what comes after Solskjaer. Because I've been watching the cycles. We've all watched the cycles of United post Fergie, with Moyes, with Van Gaal, with Mourinho, and now with Solskjaer. We've seen the cycles, some shorter cycles, some longer cycles, all of them cycles. Different types of cycles. This one with Solskjaer, for me, the most successful overall in the overall rebuild of the club. But now we can say it's gone too far. It can't go any further. But Murtough was brought in to make sure that whoever comes next after Solskjaer continues down the same path. And I was invited onto Turkish TV last night, randomly. Turkish TV, I know. I'll get the video up on at some point when they send it over to me. And I said exactly that. Whatever comes next, and that's why I'm so scared. Because what's happened when we've been in this situation before is we've just done a massive right angle U-turn. Handbrake on, slip it in reverse, go somewhere else completely. And it hasn't worked for United. And we found ourselves going towards another cycle. And that's what has to happen after Solskjaer. That's what has to happen next. And that's why Conte jars it. Because it's not the same sort of path. It is a U-turn. As successful as Conte may be, it's a huge U-turn. And it's tough. Honestly, there's so many comments coming in. I'll try and read a few of you. Barbara, you're saying Murtough is a joke. He's Woodward Shield, never been a director of football. I don't know how you can try and say that, Barbara. When United were smart in the transfer window, and we've seen nothing to suggest that John Murtough's done a bad job. So you're making ridiculous assumptions there. Victor, you're saying Sancho getting wasted. That's not fair. Mate, Sancho, we spent 2 years chasing Sancho. Begging to sign Sancho. To leave him on the bench? What's the point? What's the point? What is the point? Let's go on here and let's continue looking at what's next. But look, the stats don't tell you everything in football, but stats certainly tell you a lot about what we've seen from Manchester United this season. 15th in terms of goals conceded, 16th overall in the Premier League, 18th overall with 1 clean sheet in the last 20 games, 14th overall in terms of shots on target faced, and 20th. We are bottom of the Premier League in terms of tackles that we've completed this season. Bottom. Norwich are better than this. Errors leading to goals as well. Individual errors, 20th. Manchester United we're a shambles. That's the only way to describe it now. James, what are you saying? You need to stop this U-turn toxic talk. Any brain-dead manager knows he has a great squad here. Just needs to play football. It will be quick. You're missing the concept of what I'm saying about the U-turn here. It's not toxic in any way, shape, or form. That's a very strange way to describe it. I'm talking about the U-turn in terms of the main. We're talking about philosophies and styles, and Solskjaer, he's definitely got his philosophies, but not in terms of styles of football. Conte is a hugely different direction to where we have been going in for the last few years. Someone like Ten Hag, you can see the similarities a bit closer, but Ten Hag, we know, is not going to be leaving Ajax before the end of the season in any way, shape, or form. I don't think so anyway. I'm probably going to do a video later today. I'm going to be looking at we've got Zidane we can talk about. We've got Conte we can talk about. We've got Ten Hag we can talk about. But we have to now. I saw Gary Neville there yesterday on Sky Sports News. Not Sky Sports News, Sky Sports after the game. He was saying, look, Manchester United aren't planning for life after Solskjaer. but it doesn't mean that I can't. It doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation, because I think it would be, I personally think it would now be negligent for Manchester United to not be planning at least a contingency plan. Contingency plans are the most basic things in business. A contingency plan is there just in case. It's not as if you're planning to use it, but a contingency plan gives you options when you reach adversity, when you reach situations you didn't expect to reach. Man United, of course, did not expect to reach this situation with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer before the end of November. Of course they didn't. But to not have a contingency plan in place, to not have something at least in plan, that's negligence, and you can't afford that in business. Renil, you're saying thoughts on Carrick's contract situation. I don't think Carrick should be getting a new contract. I don't think McKenna should be getting a new contract. That's simple as that. I don't think Mike Phelan should have been getting a new contract, but he got one. It's a bit strange. I really, really do. And what you're saying, nice to see you down here, buddy. I think we're looking at 1 to 4 points at best from our next 5 league games. That could well put us in the bottom half of the table by Christmas. We've got Spurs away next, and then we've got City at home. Then we've got an international break, and I believe we've got Watford, Arsenal, and Chelsea, if I'm thinking about that off the top of my head. Yeah, these next 10 games were always going to be the biggest test, and we're just lucky, I suppose, that we won that game against lucky. No, it's a bit unfair. We had a fantastic performance against Atalanta in that second half. We did turn it around, but we're fortunate enough that we're top of the Champions League. We've still got that. That's not lost. But Manchester United in the Premier League this season, we were, what was it, a couple of points off top going into that Liverpool game, and I don't know how far off top we were, I'll be honest, but that game against Liverpool just highlighted the sheer size of the gap between our two clubs, the sheer size of the gap. And something that I think, this is a good tweet from United Arena speaking after the game. They always do speak quite a lot of sense, that lad. He was speaking because Solskjaer, after the game, he said about the coaching staff are very good, brilliant. And Solskjaer saying that after Manchester United have just lost 5-0 to Liverpool at Old Trafford. But this is what United Arena said, and this is something I do agree with. This isn't an issue because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to call out the coaching openly, and that's fine. I know that's true, but there's a difference between not calling them out and calling them brilliant. It's a bit different. There's no benefit in doing that here. However, if he wants to stay in the job, he needs to change his coaching staff. And that's always been the case. It's been the case for a long time because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer either fires the coaching staff, brings them in, or he gets sacked. They're the only two options now. But then a lot of you will say, Sam, are you kidding me, man? How are you thinking about just sacking all the coaching staff and keeping Solskjaer when he is the problem? And that is an argument now that I think has justification. It does. A couple of super chats being fired in here. Or how you doing this morning? Hope you have more than 6 beers after yesterday. Jesus Christ. Only way we can get Ten Hag mid-season is to have a clause in his contract allowing him to play Donny. Well, he would certainly play Donny, and all that would certainly make you happy, of course. But Ten Hag's not going to be leaving Ajax, I don't think. They beat PSV at the weekend 5-0. They're absolutely flying. Phenomenal management from Ajax and from Ten Hag to recover from where they were a few years ago after they sold De Ligt, after they sold Donny van der Beek, after they sold De Jong, to be where they are. Really strong management. James, you're back again, saying I'm saying toxic because you previously called Ole out toxic, and now you're one of us. Stop dampening the movement. He's got to go fast. Right? Okay. Look, fair enough. You're allowed your opinion. I'm not here to mute opinions. And yeah, I think I did previously call Ole out toxic. Fuck, man. This is tough for me. This is really tough for me. Not like on a heartbreak scale, but yeah, it feels. I feel wounded. I feel really wounded after yesterday. You probably saw it in my match reaction. You can see it now on my face. You can probably hear it in my voice. It was. I never thought that it could get as low as it did yesterday. That's what Gary said after the game. I've no idea. I didn't expect. I didn't know it could get that low. And this is a sort of new experience, I suppose, for me as a United fan. Lim, sorry if I missed your other super chat, my friend. It must have gone through quick. Well, why buy Sancho when he gets benched? We should use the money and get a CDM. After yesterday, we were boys against men. How low can we go? Hey, look, we didn't think that we could go any lower than the game against Leicester. And then we saw the first half against Atalanta. And then we didn't think we could get any lower than that. Now you cannot get any lower than being humiliated 5-0. And this has happened 3 times now at Manchester United post-Fergie, 3 times. Moyes at home. I think it was, what was it, 3-0? We got pumped by City. It's when I think Yaya Toure scored in like the first 5 minutes. And we ended up playing with Fellaini and Cleverley as goddamn wingers because Moyes had lost his shit. After that game was when I lost it. Obviously, Moyes got sacked, I believe, after Everton away. But it was Liverpool at home that after that game, I knew that Moyes was just done. And I had to say Moyes out. It was Mourinho when we lost. I believe it was 2 or 3-1 at Anfield. And that was the point where I said, Jose is done. It was the point where I had to say that my support for him had dwindled. And now, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's the 5-0 against Liverpool at Old Trafford. It's these games. It's these games against your biggest rivals. That's when, for a lot of United fans, and for me in particular, well, it's literally the 3rd time this has happened post-Fergie, that I've lost support for my manager after being beaten by Liverpool. And it's these games where the measure of it. And it's not just a defeat yesterday that I'm saying that I've lost, that I think he now needs to be sacked. It was the utter manner of it. It was the complete and utter capitulation. It wasn't like we just lost 1-2, not even 3-0. 4-0 down before half time. And we came out and it got worse. We're genuinely lucky that ended up at 5. When Paul Pogba got sent off after 15 minutes, we had half an hour with 10 men against Liverpool and we were 5-0. My God, that could have been, and probably should have been, so much worse than it was. But if we're looking at moods, this picture's iconic, really. Absolutely, that is exactly how I feel. That is exactly how I feel about Manchester United, how I felt watching the game yesterday, and for me, why it's past the point of no return. I'm not going to run after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a pitchfork and a flaming torch. All right, I'm not doing that. Do it if you want. I disagree with doing that. I think it's going too far. But I don't know where the line is anymore. All of this is just confusing me. All of this is just, oh man, it's mad. It's mad. It really is. I'm going to go down and read a few of your comments here before we're going to move on. I'll tell you what the rest of the talking points are. We're going to be speaking about Luke Shaw's interview after the game, how honest and raw it was. We're going to be speaking about Harry Maguire's interview as well. Going to be speaking about the fans inside Old Trafford and the fans that left Old Trafford as well. There really are so many talking points. Look, if you are new to United People's TV, please consider subscribing. Stick around, get involved, have your comments read out, and get involved in the community. Please, I would like to have you here. If you're watching on Facebook, please just drop a like on the video and share it if you would. James, what are you saying, my friend? You're right. It's not the scoreline because Liverpool stopped trying. It's how we lost. The players are down tools. Watch their body language, very clear. If we're talking about body language, James, let's move straight on with that point that you've just raised there. And let's go and have a look at these interviews here. We have to talk about these. So Harry Maguire is the first one. Now, something to note here in particular. I'm not going to absolutely lambast the players for their interviews after that game when you're high in emotions. It's the footballing players equivalent of a fan cam. And I wholeheartedly disagree with fan cams. Catching people in the moment after a game, I think, exposes emotional vulnerabilities of individuals for the success of channels. It's why I've always disagreed with it. Apologies if my signal seems to be going a little bit weak. I've no idea what's going on there. Hopefully it will come back. But yeah, I've always disagreed with fan cams. And that's why I wouldn't look into this too much with Harry Maguire. But I can't ignore it. There was one particular line that just irks me with Harry Maguire here.
First and foremost, apologies to the fans. It's nowhere near good enough for this club. We're all disappointed. We spoke in the dressing room. Obviously, I'm here because I have to be here.
I'm here because I have to be here. That's what Harry Maguire's just said there, and that line for me is just it's symbolic of everything that's wrong with the attitude. I'm here because I have to be here. No, you're not here because you have to be here, Harry, man. You're here because you're captain of Manchester United, and you should want to stand there in front of the camera, apologise to the fans, explain exactly what's gone on, and speak to fans properly, not to say that I have to be here. So that line there sort of, it hurt me. It really did hurt me. I'll be completely honest. Abby, what are you saying? Scholesy was spot on when he said we would be 4-0 down by half-time if we played like that against Liverpool. Look, Scholes was spot on, man. Scholes was completely spot on, and there's no way that you can say anything differently. Scholes, you saw my reaction after that interview with Scholes and Rio. I said, look, Rio's right to try and take the positives from the game. That's the optimistic United fan. That's the approach I've always taken. But I couldn't deny that Scholes was correct, that if we ended up playing a 4-2-4 formation, that Manchester United would get torn apart by Liverpool. Again, we did that against Liverpool. What happened? We did get torn apart. Scholes saw and was worried about what was happening. And he feared that it could happen again. And it did happen. Scholes was 100% spot on. I said this after the game as well. Michael, how you doing? Nice to see you. You're new. I haven't seen your face around here, but nice to see you, Mike. Ole's saying that he's come too far to give up is like when you're at university and saying you've come too far into the degree and might as well finish it regardless of if your grades are bad. I mean, if you're at uni and you paid that much, you probably are going to finish it. But I understand the sort of analogy you're getting towards. It's nothing is ever, I don't know. Football has completely changed. In post Mourinho, the football landscape has slowly been changing bit by bit by bit. And it's now reached a point where it's changed beyond recognition of what it was back before Mourinho was there. And if we're looking at the last 5 years and we're looking at the last 8 years of Manchester United and the immediacy that is needed for managers, there's a massive, massive immediacy needed. Success has to be sort of immediate. And that's why managers get less time, but nobody can really argue that Solskjaer hasn't had enough time. He has been supported over the course of 3 seasons. Obviously, his first with the interim, and now he's into his second full season. He has been supported and he's been backed. And what we're seeing now is Manchester United arguably looking worse than we have done before. And that's after we've signed Ronaldo. That's after we've signed Varane. And that's after we've signed Sancho. So there really are no excuses anymore when you're talking about, I've come too far. Yeah, but it's come too far because it's reached a point now where so many of us United fans who are staunch supporters of Solskjaer, staunch supporters of our club, have to sit here now and say Solskjaer out and that Solskjaer should be sacked. Cuts me, man. Cuts me to say that. I didn't want to be the guy that said that. I didn't want to be the person that said that, but I have to. I have a responsibility now to express the feelings of the emotions that the team have got in front of that. I can see it's broken. It's broken. It really is. And I'll tell you who else was broken. I don't know if you saw Luke Shaw's interview. Now, Luke Shaw, of course, Luke Shaw had a bad game. Really bad game. He was playing up against one of the most informed players in world football. Lo and behold, he got beaten by him. Salah, phenomenal. Can't stop him yesterday. Fair play to Liverpool. Seriously. But Luke Shaw's interview after the game, there was one particular moment that I want to pick out on. As I said, I'm not here to try and cause divide and try and really point fingers at players, trying to really pull out individuals from that game, okay? Because Shaw was bad, but so was everybody else. But this particular interview I want to speak about. DJG, do you think you could do a Ole career video so far? Don't worry about it. There will be plenty of those types of videos coming on. No matter what happens next, those videos will definitely come on United People's TV. So, all right, you don't have to worry about that. Let's have a look at what Shaw said here, because there's one point in particular. Let me go smaller screen because I might get slapped down for copyright like one did the other day.
And how the manager wants that we need to look.
Lost.
Right. I speak to you.
Right, here you go.
And tell it how it is.
The team as individuals at times looks lost. Is that on the manager?
No, like I said, I think
that pause there.
Times looks lost. Is that on
This
the manager?
pause.
No, like
It doesn't really matter what he said after that point. It's the body language there from Luke Shaw. Doesn't know what to say. It was a bit like Paul Pogba after the Leicester game, coming out and saying what he did in that post-match interview, that change was needed, that things weren't right. It looked like he couldn't really properly express what his true feelings were. And I feel like that's a similar sort of situation as to what I've seen in that Luke Shaw interview yesterday. He looked broken. He looked humbled. And for me, it was the rawest reaction I've seen to that game yesterday from the players. Apart from David De Gea saying we played like kids, and we did play like kids. I don't want to see the sort of the PR guffs. I will come together. Man United must be better. And then Ronaldo's probably done one on Instagram. I think he has done one on Instagram. I don't want to see that shit after that game. So and the football players are so media trained now because they have to be, because of what happens with journalists and how things can be skewed and taken out of context. I understand that. And that's why I enjoy interviews like this from Luke Shaw, because it's really raw. This isn't a PR interview. This is Luke Shaw speaking from the heart. And for me, that's why it's an important interview. If you haven't watched it, let me just pop the link in the description here. I'll leave it as a comment. If you haven't watched this interview with Shaw, I would encourage you to do it. It's a very, as I said, powerful interview. Couple comments here coming in, so let me read these out for you. Marcus, how you doing this morning, buddy? Saying, I don't think football has changed. I think we as United fans have seemed to find excuses for United because we have too many egos in that dressing room. I would disagree because football has massively changed. As I said, the immediacy of things has definitely sped up. And we do have a lot of egos in that dressing room. We've had egos. I mean, Manchester United's dressing room should be full of egos. We should have the best players in the world in that dressing room. And we do have some of the best players in the world in that dressing room. And it's not working. And as I said, the manner of that defeat against Liverpool yesterday with those players inside that squad, I don't think you can look at the players. Players are always symptomatic of the systems they are part of. That's what they're there for. That's why managers can come in and change a team on the flip of a coin. Even if you've got the same players, all of a sudden those players can be playing differently. It's because they're being coached and told to play differently. Players are players, man. Players, it is their job. They're going into the office, just their office is a football pitch, and they're doing what their boss is telling them to do, the manager. It's very normal. It's very, obviously, individuals can have individual moments and start doing things that are a little bit different, but ultimately you toe the line of the manager. And that's why a coach can come in and make such a significant impact in such a small amount of time. Iash, what are you saying? Problem with those saying Ole out is it's too simple and basic a comment. At least specify the benefit of a specific new manager and how they improve on Ole. Now, Ash, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm probably going to do a video later today. I'm not going to go in depth, but I'm going to have a look at the sort of the main options I think the Manchester United have. Because as I said, I think it's verging on negligence if Manchester United as a football club is not planning post-Solskjaer. And if they're not planning, at least we can have a conversation about it. Because I think, like, I'm still seeing it from the reaction there yesterday. I'm still seeing it in the fact that Manchester United are probably not going to sack Solskjaer. You saw it in Gary Neville's, I said I wasn't going to speak about it too much. I'll speak about it quickly. With Gary Neville's interview on Sky Sports, it was... Gary was just sat there and said everything without saying Ole out. And I know what you're seeing there is loyalty. And loyalty is something that Solskjaer has had as one of his biggest attributes as Manchester United manager. The players were loyal to him. Rashford, Shaw, Maguire, De Gea. Players were loyal to Solskjaer. And the players did perform for Solskjaer. Not all the time, of course. But when his back were against the wall, they turned up. But that all changed yesterday. It changed against Leicester, and it changed in the first half against Atalanta. Second half, we turned it around. It changed. Everything changed against Liverpool. And Man United looked like the players were on a ship at sea without the captain. No idea where to go. No idea what to do. And that's the situation we've now reached with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't see how, for me, the next 3 games change that. Spurs, Atalanta, and City. And then we've got a 2-week international break. So we've got, let me have a look at the dates here, actually. I think it's about the 20th of November we come back. Goddamn international breaks. Really pissing me off. But we've got Atalanta. We've got Spurs on Saturday. Spurs on Saturday at 5:30. Then Tuesday, we've got Atalanta at 8 p.m. Then we've got City, 12:30 on a Saturday on the 6th. And then we don't have a game until Watford on the 20th. So we've got 3 games of football between now and nearly a month's time. And I don't really see how things change. I don't know if it's even possible to get out of the hole that we are in now. I think it's gone too far. And that, for me, is why I said what I said yesterday. Why I will say what I am saying from now on. And it just is what it is, right? Let me go down to the comments here. As I said before, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to United People's TV. It's as painful for me as it is for you. At least drop a like on the video. Trying to do my best here. My God. And that's why I genuinely felt sorry for Gary Neville on Sky Sports yesterday. I could not have imagined being in that studio with Graham goddamn Souness and Jamie Carragher after being beaten by Liverpool 5-0 at Old Trafford, the worst defeat at Old Trafford to Liverpool since 1936. And he has to sit there and listen to those two and see them smiling across the room. I would just want to jump over and just twat them both in the face. So that was a tough situation for Gary Neville, but that's kind of, it is what it is when you're a pundit, right? You've got to take the highs when you get them and the lows when they aren't there. When they are there. Something I would say about the support yesterday. Obviously, we saw thousands of United fans. The amount of people that left Old Trafford was mind-blowing, really. But at the same time as that, Man United support was fantastic. If you look here, this is a video from the TRA section, the Red Army section in the east, I think it is. Yeah, but just above the tunnel. They were fantastic yesterday. Honestly, they deserve credit. They really do. Because even at full time yesterday, they were still supporting, and they are supporting Manchester United Football Club. It doesn't matter what 11 players are on the pitch. It doesn't matter who's in that dugout. They are supporting something that's bigger than all of them. They are supporting the stadium that they're sat inside. They're supporting the badge that's on the shirt, not the shirt that's on the player's back. And that's why that support is so powerful and so fantastic. And United fans do deserve better. Of course they do deserve better. The players coming out and apologizing. It just it doesn't really matter. After what you just did, what's the point in apologizing after you just punched me in the face? No offense, but twat. Sorry about that, though. Sorry. But yeah, you let me know. Look, fire in your comments, fire in your super chats. I'll read as many as I can out in the next 10 minutes or so. But what is next? What do you think is going to happen next in the next 2 weeks for Manchester United? What do you honestly expect to happen? Do you expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked and replaced? Do you expect Manchester United to still back Solskjaer? Do you expect Manchester United to win against Spurs or Atalanta or City? What do you think is going to happen in the next couple of weeks? Because we're all talking about how it can't get any lower than that against Liverpool, and I don't think it can. I don't think anything that happens next. I don't think it can get any lower than that. We're going to have disappointments if we lose games again, but the sheer manner of that at home, in front of 75,000 fans, public flogging. As I said, it's like being naked in the stocks in medieval times and getting rotten cabbages lobbed at your head. That's how bad it was. Charles, you're saying, I expect him to have been sacked a long time ago. Protests if a must. Vitrum, you're saying, I think Ole will be gone in 2 weeks' time. I expect us to win against Spurs and draw against City, and Atalanta and City will smash us if Solskjaer will hear. Jordan Phillips on Facebook, you're saying we need a new manager ASAP. Chelsea changed it around, so can we. Oh, man, are we really going to become Chelsea? That horrifies me. But that's modern football. And is it something that I've just got to accept? Is it something, or can United do it different? We have tried to do it differently with Solskjaer, and it hasn't worked. Imola, you're saying I want Ole to be replaced, regardless of Man United lose against Tottenham, City, and Watford. City and Chelsea love their owners, but Man United fans hate their owners. That's because City and Chelsea's owners are billionaires coming in and using their clubs as puppets, political puppets and toys. That's not something that should ever happen at Manchester United, will ever happen at Manchester United. Joshua saying, only thing is, he's not going to change anything. No formation change, no player change. Nothing. Just fingers crossed football. Fingers crossed football. That's a decent phrase. People have said, look, stop the sentiments. He needs to go. Paper on the cracks. Jesus Christ, mate. Do you not see the title of my video yesterday? You not see the first 43 minutes of this video? I'm not here to say that Solskjaer should be staying on as manager. But for the sheer fact that I can't tell you a plan of what's next is exactly what Manchester United is a football club. They have no fucking plan of what is next. No goddamn plan of what comes past Solskjaer. Man, they say don't keep all your eggs in one basket. We have one basket, and it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And now we've put ourselves into a position where we're either going to have to continue down this path, which now seems almost definitely to be the wrong path, and that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't the man to take us forward. But at the same time, we've publicly backed him. We gave him a new contract in the summer. We've just given a new contract to Mike Phelan. All our eggs are in that basket. So what are we going to do now? How are we going to switch from there to get rid of him to go somewhere else when we haven't made that plan? It took. That's what I mean. That's why I'm horrified about what's next. Man United simply have not planned for it. And that worries the crap out of me. It really, really does. And that's why I'm so scared about what's next. Being scared of what's next doesn't mean that I don't think we should go there. As I said, I've reached that point now as a fan. I'm pretty sure I feel fair in my judgment here. I feel like I'm not jumping too early. And of course, I'm probably going to get some abuse here from some United fans who feel like I am, but in the same way that I was getting abuse from United fans who felt like I wasn't jumping early enough. Hell, it's what happens when I suppose you're in the public spotlight a little bit. I'm only here a little bit by comparison of plenty of people, of course, but I mean, it is what it is. There's a couple of comments here coming in. I'm going to read these out. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Hi, Sam. Do you think we need to rotate Cavani, Ronaldo, and Greenwood down the middle and leave Sancho on the right and Rashford on the left? Preaching to the choir here, Mike. I've been sat Sancho on the right-hand side, Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, Ronaldo through the middle. And I said Cavani should have started yesterday. I was completely right. Mason Greenwood was isolated, and we needed that. You can't press as individuals, so we're never really going to press. But I wanted Cavani's aggression and his sort of understanding. I've wanted him in the game yesterday, and I think we should definitely be rotating and moving around because Ronaldo will not be able to play 90 minutes. And you saw his frustration yesterday. He could have easily been sent off for that kick against Curtis Jones in the first half. Obviously, he kicked the ball, so it's a little bit different, but he could easily have been kicked off for that, and that was just how frustrated he was. Or, what are you saying, buddy? Even if we win against Atalanta, Spurs, and City, we'll be here again next year talking about the same shit. I've tried to see a positive. I've seen it. What's the positive then? I haven't said. I've been sat here witnessing the boom bust cycles. Been plenty of them, but this feels like a boom boom. No, a bust cycle. Sorry, there's not going to be a boom here, in my opinion. I think it's just going to be another bust. I might be wrong. I really much doubt it. That's what I'm saying. That you can't get any lower than that. We're underwater right now. We're drowning. Solskjaer's drowning. The players in the squad are drowning. And where previously this has been followed by a boom and Manchester United recovering, I just do not see, for the life of me, I do not see how and where that comes from now. Simple as that. Robert saying, who would you go for? I'll go for Conte just for us for a couple of seasons. All right, I'll let you know. Let me know in the comments now. Type it all in. Who do you want to see United get next? I'll read a few of your comments out. But I'm not going to have an opinion on who I think it is just yet. I'm waiting for a while. I'm going to be doing plenty of research into this before I publicly say which manager I would personally rather have, because I think it would be foolish to go and say that. I can't, as much as I want to say Conte doesn't fit and Conte does not fit the style that I've got in my head, it would be foolish of me to completely rule him out at this point. Foolish of me. Let's go down to the comments here and see what you're saying. Zidane, Ten Hag, Southgate. Well, at least someone's got a sense of humour this morning. We need that little laugh here and there. Zidane, Ten Hag, not Conte, says Mike. You can't ignore it. Gareth Southgate. Another Gareth Southgate. Steve Bruce is available. Simeone, says somebody. Ten Hag. I don't know. It seems obvious that the three main options, as far as people are concerned in the comments, are Conte, Zidane, and Ten Hag. Conte available. Zidane available. Ten Hag not available. Ten Hag will not be available until the end of the season, I do not think. Graham Potter, oh my God, I don't think United are going to... Graham Potter has done an absolutely outrageously good job at Brighton, and he could be fantastic, but that's a risk I don't think Manchester United will take. But maybe that sort of sits and fits the style a bit more. That fits, not the style, the DNA of the club, the identity of the club. I don't know where we turn here. I really don't know where we turn. Ian, you're saying Laurent Blanc. Nah, he was a candidate back in the day, wasn't he? I don't know, and that's what I mean. I don't know where to turn. I don't know where we're going. Manchester United are a car and the engine's broken down, the wheels falling off, the other wheels falling off. There's smoke coming out the bonnet, and the back windscreen wiper's broken. What do you fix first? What do you go for first? How do you get moving again? But you need help. But who are you bringing in to do it? I just don't know. It seems not. It's not an impossible situation to answer, of course. But in this right now, for me, it is. I think it's an impossible situation for me to sort of pin my colours to. I can't say any individual manager would be any better or any worse than anybody else right now. I'm going to be doing a video later today, maybe taking a look at a few of the options, because as I said, I think it's my responsibility now with United People's TV, with the community that we've all built here, to have these discussions, to have this debate. And I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think it would be an outrageous thing to do. I think it would be right for us to have the conversations about new managers, right for us to be looking at what comes next, because we have to plan. The plans have to be done. It can't just be a split decision made on the flip of a coin. Say fuck it, just get Conte in. I'll just get him in anyway. If you get, that's what I mean. Oh, man, this is such a situation. Shivan, you're saying the thing is our situation can be turned around with the right manager. It's not like our squad is terrible. Yeah, I know that. I'm not saying our squad is terrible. I'm saying our squad is fantastic. And ultimately, that is why we're at this stage. We wouldn't, the outcries and the feelings wouldn't be so intense had we not signed the players we signed in the summer. We finished second last year. We got to the Europa League final. We signed Ronaldo, Varane, and Sancho, and now we're 8 points off top. And it's not the end of November. And our next 2 games are against Spurs and City in the Premier League. Things can get worse in terms of how far we are away from the top of the Premier League. No doubt about that whatsoever. But in terms of the feelings I've got inside of me post that Liverpool game, I don't think it gets any lower than that. I don't personally think it can get any worse than that. And I'll pull it up again. This photo is everything. This is exactly how I feel. You can hear that photo. You can hear that release from Fergie saying, Jesus Christ, what are we doing? Where do we go from here? I don't know. I really don't know. People are saying very sad that so many people left the stadium yesterday. Yeah, it is sad. And it's really indicative of how bad that was, of how humiliating that was. United fans spending their good, hard-earned money going to watch the team they support and getting absolutely humiliated while Liverpool fans are sitting there cheering Ole's at the wheel. People want to leave. People can leave. They spent the goddamn money on it. Whether or not you would look, that's a fucking whole different conversation. I'm not going to get into that about people leaving the games early. I'm going to read a few more of you. Look, I'll head down to the comments here for the next 5 minutes or so. Please fire in your questions, proper questions that you have, not just like statements, questions and super chats. I'll try and read as much out as possible. But I think you can tell this morning that, I don't know, I feel a bit kind of, numb's the wrong way to describe it, but I feel a bit empty. I feel like I don't really know what to say. Well, I've been talking 50 minutes, so I'm sure I've got something that I need to talk about. I'm sure I've said something. But I feel a bit lost. I feel a bit lost as a United fan. I've been supporting. And last night was when I couldn't support it anymore. I've just seen too much in that game to continue supporting Solskjaer as manager. And it now forces me into a situation where I need to look at what's next. Because if I've reached that point now where I'm willing to say Solskjaer should be sacked, then I've reached a point now where I have to be able to express to you what could and should come next. Because just to shout Solskjaer out without looking at the plan next would be massively hypocritical of me. This is what I've always said to you over the last few weeks. Don't just shout Ole out at me in the comments. Come at me with a conversation. And if I don't sort of abide by those rules and ethics that I'm asking you to, then I'll be a massive hypocrite. I'm not going to do that. That's why I'm going to do. That's why I'm going to do that video probably later today. I'm going to take a look at Zidane, take a look at Conte, take a look at Ten Hag, and take a look at maybe some other options. But Nathan, nice to see you in the comments here, mate. Ole's not the man, but he would always be a legend in my eyes for what he's done as a player. And in this rebuild, he spent 10 minutes signing autographs when he probably just wanted to go home. Solskjaer wanted to disappear into a goddamn hole after that game, and he was there for 10 minutes after. That's the measure of the man he is, as I said. But yeah, I think it's past the point of no return. And this is exactly what I don't want to see here. I told you so. What took you so long? This is not today, this week. This is not a time to try and get top trumps over another United fan. Ha! Where were you? I've been here for 4 weeks. This is not the time for that. All right, everyone's hurting in their own ways. Simple as that. But this is not a time for you to try and get some sort of bragging right, saying I was here first. Look at me. That's completely and utterly wrong. People are asking whether Solskjaer is going to be sacked today. In my opinion, I don't think he will. In my opinion, I don't expect Manchester United to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the next week. I could be completely wrong. And I'm not saying that with any sort of sources. I'm saying that that's my gut feeling. I don't think they will. And I don't really think they should until they actually know what's coming next. And I don't know what's coming next, but I'm not Manchester United's board. So, of course, they're going to have more insight, of course they are, into their own plans. But there's never a point. It's like quitting your job without having a job lined up. It's a bit fucking mad. Why would you take that risk? Why wouldn't you just wait until you got the new job lined up before you go into that new job? Simple as that. That's kind of what people do in business. Although sometimes, people do just quit jobs because they want to quit the job. What, we're going to sack Solskjaer and give Carrick and McKenna as an interim manager? Well, we're just going to the same situation. I don't know. I do not know. People are talking about Scott McTominay and Fred, and I said that if Solskjaer was stubborn with those two players, then it would be the hill that he died on. He died on it yesterday. I don't particularly think it was anything to do with individual players yesterday overall. And would Paul Pogba being in that team instead of Fred and McTominay, would that have changed things? No, probably not. But I did say it would be something to hurt him eventually. Yash, you welcome aboard, eh? Join as a member. Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll try and read your comments out. Look, if you'd like to join Yash and join the United People's TV family, hit the join button down below. It's your way of supporting the channel. As you've seen with the studio I've built here, with the PO box that I've opened. If anybody wants to send me some drugs or some booze, I'm only joking about the drugs. Send some booze. If you want to send anything to me, you can. There's a PO box open there. There's a big space on the wall there. I'm going to get a table there for building stuff that you guys and girls are all going to be sending in, because I want to make it about the channel. I feel like I want to drink, and it's 10:30 on a Monday morning. Is that bad? You allowed to drink on Thursday? I think you are. No one would know. Just get drunk here on my own. I don't know. I'm drained this morning, says Steffi. Well, that's a feeling that I share. We're all drained. Craig, I'll wrap this up after this question. Question, Sam, will it be bad for us if Ole changes the formation to a 3-5-2 to let Van der Beek and Craig, at this point, I don't think we can really have conversations about changing formations and changing players. It's you can't. It's past that point now. It's past that point. It's past the point of saying, oh, maybe if you tweak this, maybe if you tweak that. Solskjaer's lost the ability to have these tweaks. The tweaks were there, and he didn't take the tweaks. He stuck to his guns, and the guns didn't have any bullets in. Well, unless your name's Alec Baldwin. Sorry. Oh shit, I should have done that. Oh god, I'm going to wrap this up. Look, ladies and gents, I would say I enjoyed this morning, but I really bloody didn't. But the public mourning this morning was needed. What comes next is going to be the next video I want to do here on United People's TV. I'm going to be speaking about, as I said, the next managers, the options that we've got. If I'm willing enough to come out publicly and say that Solskjaer should be sacked, I have to be willing to look at what comes next, because we have to look at what's next for Manchester United. Hey, look, let's see what goes on next. Thank you very much for joining in this morning. It's been a busy one. There's quite literally thousands of comments from all of you. But Rory's saying that we're all United fans. Sam, we'll be okay if we make smart decisions from here and our fans direct the eye towards the owners. Never forget that they are at the top of the tree. We all know that. But look, thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for subscribing. Yash, thank you very much for joining as a member. Anybody else who wants to join as a member, hit that button down below. Get involved. I'll be here later on. My match reaction was there from yesterday if you want to see that. Also, my reaction to Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher's debate on Sky Sports is on the channel too. There's plenty of content. I'll be here later on today, maybe around about 2 o'clock with another video. But thank you very much for joining in. Have a good day. Have a beer. It doesn't matter if it's Monday. There's different rules. It's holiday rules today, and the holiday begins at 10:30 in the morning. So enjoy yourself. Thank you very much. And let's just forget that yesterday ever existed, please.